You are listening to a special episode of Gaza Voices, where you can connect to the real lived experiences of Gazans since October 7th, 2023. We asked Palestinians living inside and outside of Gaza to share their thoughts with us after 365 days of war. Here are their voices.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Omar. I am Palestinian from Gaza Strip, from a small city in Gaza called Rafah City. It's in the south of Gaza. I lived there 27 years. I brought my childhood there. I made my friends there. I visited my schools there. All important aspects of my life were there. Now I am living since 2 years in Berlin and since 8 years in Germany, but emotionally and physically I am still there. I am still in Gaza. My family is still there, not in Rafah city. They are displaced many times in this war. And now part of them in Khan Yunis city, part of them in Deir Balah city, and the rest are in blankets. We talking now about 1 year coverage of the war. I know the situation is very difficult and very depressive too, and we don't see till now any light of the end of the tunnel that we can go out and the war go to end, unfortunately. And maybe after 1 year of the war in Gaza, you are in the beginning and the start of beginning of a new war in the Middle East. So my message here that it's not the time to forgive and to go outside and to say, okay, we couldn't do more. I mean, in this difficult time where the new war begin in the Middle East, we should expand our capacity, we should expand our energy, we should expand our efforts, we should try different methods, we should try different strategies, how we can go with this new situation to follow the dynamic in the Middle East and to be fit genug, the people there, not only in Gaza, but also in Lebanon, in Syria, in Jordan, to give our best to help the people there.
My name is Mabad El Farra. I'm working in MSF France, living in Khan Yunis, Gaza Strip. Living in Gaza this past year has been an incredibly difficult experience, both personally and professionally. The war has upended everything I had built. My home, my studies, and my daily routine were all destroyed in one instant. That loss creates a profound sense of grief and frustration, because the future I had envisioned feels more distant than ever. At the same time, working as physiotherapist has given me a purpose, even amid that chaos. Every day I help people who are also trying to rebuild their lives, and that gives me motivation to keep going. There are constant fears whether for my family's safety and uncertainty about whether I would be able to continue my studies or rebuild our home. The anxiety never truly goes away. But despite everything, I still have hope. I believe that the work I do is making a difference, and I hold on to the idea that one day things will improve for all of us in Gaza. My main motivation is to continue learning and developing my skills so that I can contribute to the rebuilding of our healthcare system, which is critical in times like these. Looking ahead, I hope for peace and stability, not just for me, but for the entire community. I want to see a future where we can rebuild our homes, continue our studies, and live without fear. My message to the people of Gaza is to stay strong, stay resilient, and to the world, I would ask them not to forget us. We need their support. We need their support not just in terms of aid, but in helping us achieve a lasting peace so we can finally rebuild our lives. Thank you.
I feel disappointed by all the parts that didn't stand with Gaza, yet I didn't expect much from them. My feelings and thoughts are now mixed between sadness and reassurance because God will never waste the reward of the patient. My message to the world is to never forget the rights of the Palestinians, which were lost due to collective negligence, and to keep the Palestinian cause as their first priority, defending religion, sacred sites, humanity, and childhood. My message to the people living in Gaza is to forgive us for our shortcomings, even though there is nothing we can do to help. Still, we don't forget them in our heartfelt prayers, and we do feel pain and sorrow for what they are going through. But there is nothing more we can do. I also can't deny that I'm worried about those little souls who will grow up with heartbreak and pain from losing their loved ones, having witnessed scenes and horrors that neither the heart nor the mind can comprehend. But this is a trial from God, and it will surely pass.
Hello everybody. Seriously, I don't know why recording this video. The humanity and the world left us to mass genocide here in Gaza Strip. We all lost everything. I lost my job. I lost my house. I lost my clothes. I lost my car. And also I lost a lot of people, my best friend and best colleagues. So we are killed and we are very miserable. Thank you the world, thank you the humanity.
Oof, my thought after almost 1 year, it's really hard to articulate. I don't really know exactly how to describe it because like words fail to describe it. I just know that I feel fury, I feel frustration, and to see how it's just astonishing how cruel and how hypocrite people can be, and especially like living in Berlin, living in Germany, a country that pride itself for being ahead in human values and in civil rights. But then also to be the country sending the second most amount of weapons to literally fund genocide, like being leaders in funding death and destruction while somehow laughing at our faces and hiding behind their fingers, attempting to justify it. It's just so dystopianly ironic that people here, like some people are getting in trouble for saying things like from the river to the sea in a country that is funding to flatten Gaza from its border to its sea. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's just it's really frustration and just this feeling of helplessness. Somehow there is hope, but it's it's what keeps us going, I guess.
The fact that nearly a year has passed since the war in Gaza began fills me with sadness, frustration, and a deep questioning of the existence of conscience, humanity, and justice in this world. We have witnessed children and people dying, even being buried alive, homes being destroyed, dreams shattered, and various forms of oppression and tyranny. Yet, all of this has not been enough to stir the human conscience. I feel sorrow for the people of Gaza, who are now struggling to meet the most basic necessities of life, where even clean water has become their greatest dream. We must all stand in solidarity and use our voices and actions to support the cause of Gaza, because its people deserve a dignified life, and their children deserve to live in a safe environment. The time has come for the oppression and abuse to end, and for this unjust occupation to cease. The world cannot continue to turn a blind eye to the suffering of Gaza. Every day that passes without action is a day where innocent lives are lost, where children's future are stolen, and where the fabric of a once vibrant community is further torn apart. The silence of the international community is not just disappointing, it's also a failure of a moral responsibility. We must remember that the people of Gaza are not just statistics or news headlines. They are human beings with hopes, dreams, and they do have the right to live in peace. It's our duty as members of a global society to raise our voices against this injustice, to demand and to work tirelessly for a future where the people of Gaza can live free from fear and with the dignity they deserve. The time for action is now, before more lives are lost, and before the world becomes even more complicit in this ongoing tragedy.
Hello everyone, my name is Fadi. I am from Palestine, Jenin, and currently living in Germany. Over the past year, I have closely followed the tragic events in Gaza through platforms like YouTube and Instagram, witnessing the suffering of Palestinians. The ongoing war has left me with a deep sadness and fear for my family. To all Palestinians around the world, I want to say, never lose hope. This will end and peace will come.
Hello, my name is Hala Omar. I'm a doctor from Gaza Strip, from Rafah City, displaced now in Khan Yunis. I'm 29 years old. I left my home on 25th May 2024, and today is 5th October 2024, and it's been almost a year since the beginning of this war. And it feels like a nightmare. It feels like unbelievable reality. We can't believe that this is our life now. We can't believe that we lost everything. Our homes, our friends, our future, our security, our safety. It feels like we're living in the middle of a nightmare and we don't know when we'll end. We don't know when will we wake up. We are trapped, imprisoned in this area, in these hard living conditions. And we feel like we run out of hope. We run out of energy. We run out of strength. We run out of everything. And just we are waiting. And we don't know what we are waiting for. I don't know what we are waiting for. We are waiting God's mercy.
I am reading this for Muhammad, currently in Deir al-Balah. As we approach the first anniversary of this tragedy we are living through, how many heads of families in Gaza have spent an entire year wrestling with difficult choices? Should he take his family and flee or not? And if they fled, was it the right decision? And where would they go? Where would they find a tent, a mattress, cooking utensils, basic supplies? So many questions and so many stories. Whether displaced or not, for a whole year, they have struggled to secure their daily bread amid soaring prices severe shortages of food, cooking gas, and more. How many were displaced, forced to abandon their homes, and are lucky if their houses still stand or are only partially damaged? How many heads of families go from organization to another one, trying to obtain aid or a food parcel, often leaving empty-handed? How does one comfort such hardships? This is overwhelming tragedy, and these relentless challenges, things they never could have imagined, not even in nightmares. Daily scenes that break the heart. Oh God, grant us beautiful patience.
This is Abdul Rahim. I'm speaking from Jordan, and after 1 year of war, all I can say is I feel tired, sad, and heartbroken. So many lives have been lost, homes destroyed, and families hurt. It's hard to live in a constant fear, but we keep going for our children, our blood, and for hope. And the things that currently in my mind, I think about the families struggling to find food, clean water, and medical care. I think about the children who have grown up knowing nothing but war and blockade, their futures uncertain and overshadowed by traumas. I'm also mindful of the international community's response, or lack thereof. While some speak out, it often feels like people of Gaza are abandoned or reduced to statics. The endless suffering is inescapable, and what I worry about is the continuation of violence. Every ceasefire feels like a fragile, every promise of a peace fleeting. I worry about the long-term impact on an entire generation growing in a war zone. The humanitarian crisis worsens every day, and with no end in sight, I worry that the world will simply turn a blind eye. Will Gaza ever be allowed to heal? Will we ever see a freedom? And the future. How I see the future is... all I can see that the future is uncertain, but I must believe that peace is possible. Even though it feels distant, there are days when hope is hard to hold into. But we cling into it because it's the only thing that keeps us moving forward. We dream of a future where the people of Gaza can live in dignity and freedom, where our children can grow in a peace, and where no longer have to bury loved ones because of war.
My name is Anas, and I'm reading this text on behalf of my Palestinian friend, Ahmed Naim. The sky is gray today, just as it was yesterday. Nothing feels normal. I can still sense yesterday as it were right now. A whole year has passed, yet I'm stuck in a state of nothingness. Status quo that's anything but stable. Each day for the past year, I've been glued to the news, waiting, hoping for any end to this river of blood. I count the martyrs in my mind as if they were scars marking my body from battles fought. This is where Muhammad fell. Here was where Abdurrahman's body disappeared. And over there, we used to walk under the moonlight all night long. Now, the streets feel like strangers. They no longer hold the comfort they once did. I rack my brain, trying to recall the path, to make sense of the way back, to find any kind of solace. I pull out old photos, comparing them to the present, as if I am watching an earthquake devastate everything I once knew. For a year now, I felt myself burning from every side. The hardest pain is the one that eats way to my memories, my history. The war has left my mind with nowhere to escape. Blood. Blood on the roads. Blood buried in the ashes. Blood mingling with the golden sands of the city. I've been left alone to wrestle my memories. Every night, I wake in the dark, checking if I've lost someone else in those fragile minutes when I drifted off to sleep. The best moments in my day are the first 3 seconds after I wake. Those fleeting moments of self-induced amnesia where I feel free from everything. For a year, I've tried to answer the simple question, how are you? The echo of that question fills my mind, bouncing off the thoughts of those still trapped beneath the rubble for months. The privilege of asking how I am feels like a luxury, a bitter irony. Now, silence swallows me. The same silence that's been my companion for months. I feel as my whole body aches, like I am an old man teetering on the edge of his grave.
At the time of this recording, almost 2 million people have been displaced within Gaza, and at least 50% of the homes in Gaza have been destroyed. More than 42,000 people in Gaza have been killed and 96,000 injured in Israeli attacks, and thousands more are buried under rubble. In the occupied West Bank, at least 700 people have been killed and more than 5,000 have been injured. In Israel, over 1,000 people have been killed and more than 8,000 injured. A ceasefire and the Israeli hostages seem all but abandoned, and no end is in sight. It can be hard to imagine the scale of destruction and loss of life in the last 12 months of this war. You are about to hear 44 seconds of silence. Every second you hear represents 1,000 lives lost. In September 2024, Israel expanded the war into Lebanon as they carried out an attack by concealing explosives inside the batteries of pagers. Within just a few days, hundreds of Lebanese have been killed and thousands wounded. More intense retaliatory actions are being taken in other dimensions of this war that threaten further regional violence. Israel has also bombed Syria and Yemen. And at the start of October, Iran launched more rockets at Israel. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres stated in late September, 2 million Palestinians are now crammed into a space the size of the Shanghai International Airport, existing, not living, but existing, among lakes of sewage, piles of rubbish, and mountains of rubble. The only certainty they have is that tomorrow will be worse. The Palestinians of Gaza have borne the brunt of this war, their lives and dreams destroyed or forever changed. Their stories and statements are vital to hear if we want to have a full and human understanding of these events. We will continue to share them as the war persists. Now that you have heard these stories, we ask you to act. Find at least one local organization calling for a permanent ceasefire and support them with your voice, your presence, or your finances. Look up your elected official and urge them to support a ceasefire. Invite your friends, family, and network to join you in taking action together. If you would like more in-depth perspectives on a broad range of topics around everyday life for Gazans during this war, please consider listening to the hour-long episodes of Gaza Voices. If this episode touched you in some way, pass it along to others who are looking for new context and more information about what's happening in Gaza. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Gaza Voices 24. Our website is www.gaza-voices.com. Thank you for listening to these Gaza Voices.